Hi everyone, Susanna Anderson here from the Are They All Yours blog at StephenAndersonFamily.com. Today I wanted to show you how I make crepes using einkorn flour. I've mentioned before that our family uses einkorn flour for all the things we make at home, and I use and recommend the Jovial Foods brand einkorn flour. And today I will show you how I make crepes with these. It's really fast, it's really easy. If you're intimidated by it, you won't be after watching this video. The Jovial Foods company has this einkorn cookbook that I love, that I have used virtually every day since buying it. I have all my own notes in it. And in the back, I wrote some recipes that I came up with myself. And the one I'm making today is the palacinta over here. Palacinta is what we call crepes in Hungarian. Whenever you're working with einkorn, it is ideal to use a kitchen scale because the einkorn flour is so silky and lightweight that it is very easy to end up with more than you want. So for the basic recipe, for every 1 egg that you use, you need 100 grams of einkorn flour as well as a ½ cup of milk and a ½ cup of carbonated water. That's all there is to it, just 4 ingredients. So for every 100 grams of flour, a ½ cup of milk, a ½ cup of carbonated water, and 1 egg. I'm going to double that today. So here we're going to go for 200 grams, which is approximately 1½ cups. So to my 200 grams of flour, I'm going to add 2 eggs and 1 cup milk. And you can see how I'm mixing it all in a large measuring cup, because that makes pouring it when I go to bake these later a lot easier. Now, in order to get a nice batter that is free of any lumps and bakes up real thin and nicely, I recommend using a stick blender. If you don't have a stick blender, you could make the batter in an actual blender and pour from there, or use a regular egg beater and try to get all the lumps out. The recipe also calls for 1 cup of carbonated water, which I make at home in my soda stream, or you can buy it ready. And I'm not going to add that right at the beginning because I want to preserve that carbonation. If you do not have carbonated water available, you could use just a cup of regular water and a pinch of baking soda. It kind of has a similar effect, but I strongly recommend using carbonated water. So we'll start out with my stick blender here with just the milk, the egg, and the flour. And once that is all nicely incorporated, I will now slowly add the carbonated water just to retain some of that fizz. And the end result is this really smooth, free of any lumps batter. It will thicken up as it sits, just because the way einkorn works, it thickens up a little as it sits and absorbs those fats from the milk and the egg, which is the perfect length of time while I preheat my pan to a medium hot. Now, which size skillet you use is entirely up to you and depends on your needs. Typically, for my family, I used to use an 8-inch skillet. It would make a nice size to make crepes for kids that weren't too large. However, the problem with this is that one batch, so half of what I'm making today, makes approximately 6 of these 8-inch crepes. Meaning for my family of 12 now, I actually have to make the recipe 10-fold. So instead of using 100 grams of flour or 200 as we did today, I have to start with 1,000 grams of flour, 10 eggs, 5 cups of milk, 5 cups of carbonated water, and it makes approximately 60 of these crepes. Well, that takes a really, really long time. So I started using, for my family instead, this 15-inch skillet. It's made by Cuisinart. It is a stainless steel, heavy, really nice skillet, and I cannot recommend it enough. This is actually enough to make scrambled eggs for half the family, so I only have to make in 2 batches. Fried eggs. I use this all the time in the kitchen for making pork chops. It is a really good size, and it's great for making crepes. And when I make crepes just for myself, I use this tiny 6-inch omelet skillet because I can typically make 4 of the smaller crepes for myself if I want to have a lot of different toppings without eating, 4 large crepes. But today, for the sake of the video, I'm going to show you how to make them using the standard 8-inch skillet. Now, when working with stainless steel, in order for the stainless steel to not become sticky when you cook in it, you want to wait until your pan is hot before you add your grease, which is butter in this case. So once you put your hand above it and you can tell that the heat is rising and the pan is hot enough, I just add a quick thing of butter. So you want to add just about a quarter to a half cup of batter depending on the size of your pan, and swirl that around. And I'm intentionally going to let the video roll so you can see about how long it takes to make it. And you can see once the batter on the top starts drying up a little bit and is not looking wet anymore, the crepe will be ready to turn over. I just use a butter knife to turn it over. I slide it along the edges, and then I just quickly flip it over. And there you have it. The second side does not take quite as long to cook. It's already golden. So I simply invert it onto a plate and make the next one. I would say total time to make one takes about 1 minute. You can also try flipping them directly in the pan. Now, as far as toppings go, the nice thing about these crepes is because the batter does not contain any sugar, you can really go sweet or savory with these. And typically I think we think of crepes as being sweet, and for breakfast that is definitely our preferred choice. But you could just as easily fill them with ham and Swiss cheese and maybe some arugula, or bacon and eggs for breakfast. The sky is the limit. Now here are just some traditional toppings that we use in Hungary. Typically we would use apricot jam. That would be the #1 topping, I would say. My children also like strawberry jam. The next favorite in Hungary is to use powdered sugar and cinnamon, so cinnamon sugar. And my favorite actually is ground walnuts and powdered sugar. Another popular thing my family really likes is lemon juice and powdered sugar. Nesquik, just straight up in there as powder. Or my husband's favorite, Nutella. And then I typically put sliced strawberries and bananas on top. So good. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel below. Thank you for watching. Bye.